Hello and welcome to this video. This is going to be a short video about some short books because if you're like me, you may have recently noticed that you're a little bit behind on your reading goals and that we only have a couple weeks left in this year. So hopefully these short books help you get closer to your goal or even meet your goal by the end of the year. These are all books under 200 pages that I have personally read and would recommend to you. There are books in all genres, so hopefully there's something here for everybody. With all that said, let's get into the video. We're going to start with historical fiction. Now, this book is a book that I just recently read, and it is The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 1. Yes, that does mean this is a part of a series, so if you like this first book, there's a whole series for you to get lost in. This book is about a young woman named Emma who has recently come into her inheritance and she is now old enough to claim it. So she's returning to London from the countryside to claim her inheritance now that she's old enough to do so. And this book truly is her journals. You know, we are seeing what she's getting up to during the day. Sometimes she's sharing with us quotes from the books that she's reading. Sometimes she's remembering a time when so-and-so did this, you know. And so it's very much just her journals. So we are getting to follow her along as she is seeking to claim her inheritance and coming up against some conflict with her guardian who has been managing her inheritance up until now. And so there's a little bit of a conflict there. Even when she's frustrated and you know that she's frustrated with the situation she's in, she still just has this upbeat, positive demeanor. It's just delightful and very charming. Moving on to another genre and another series, let's talk about sci-fi and the Murderbot series. The first book in the series is called All Systems Red, and this is about a security robot who has hacked its programming so that in its free time he can watch soap operas. Since this robot now has agency and now can do what it wants when it wants, all it wants to do is watch its soap operas, but it doesn't want the humans that it works for to know that it's hacked its governor module. So it has to keep doing what the humans ask it to do when they ask him to do things. And so he's going along doing these things, but you're seeing the internal monologue of this robot, and he's just thinking about the next time he can go rest in his spot and watch soap operas. That's all it wants to do. And so it's this kind of cheeky, funny, cozy sci-fi. The second sci-fi book that I want to recommend to you is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This book takes place during a time war, and we are seeing letters that are being sent from two agents on opposing sides of this time war. And as they're sending these letters to each other, these notes to each other, they are falling in love with each other. This book is written so beautifully. It's so artistic and poetic and descriptive. This isn't a plot-heavy book. This is a book you'll want to read if you just want to see how beautifully words can come together and create just such a vivid image of something. Something I love about this book in particular, and an element that kind of reminds you that it is a sci-fi book, is the way in which these letters are delivered. They aren't just written words on paper. No. These letters are delivered through the taste of a certain drink at a certain time at this cafe. As the recipient is drinking this tea, they are ingesting, they are receiving the words that were written in this tea. It's super creative, super artistic, and that just allows for the beauty of this writing to shine. Now on to the horror genre. The book that I have to recommend to you for this genre is a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. It is The Haunting of Hill House. Now this book, it follows a young woman named Eleanor who has been recruited to participate in a study at a haunted house. What I loved about this book is that you have this house, and it's just the design of it, how it's built, is just kind of confusing and creepy, and it just adds to the creepiness. Whether or not there are supernatural forces haunting this house, the house itself is just a little bit off. Then we do have these spooky things happening to our main character, Eleanor, and the other participants within this study, but we don't know how much of it is true because Eleanor isn't exactly a reliable narrator. It's also about belonging because all of these people in this study who are coming together to spend some time in this haunted house are all seeking belonging. They have all felt neglected and abandoned and misunderstood by their families, by the people that are closest to them. And so they're all in some way seeking this sense of belonging. That was something I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting this horror book to be so deep, but it was, and I really enjoyed that. Next, I have a couple of nonfiction for you. First is The Sound of a Wild Snail Eating. This is a very short nonfiction book. It's a memoir of a woman who had a very serious illness that left her bedridden for, I want to say, a year or more. In this time, she is gifted a little plant, and there's a little snail living in the pot of this plant. And once she finds out that there's this snail, she just becomes fascinated by the snail and wants to learn as much as she can about this snail and how it can just live such a slow, simple life. This book is a collection of everything she learned about snails at this time and little lessons that she learned about herself and her own experience as she was learning about this snail. If you like snails, if you like stories of people going through hard things and trying to find glimmers of hope even in difficult circumstances, I think you'll like this one. Now, another one that's a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more comforting, happy, then I would recommend The Tao of Pooh. This is an introduction into the Chinese philosophy and religious tradition of Taoism through the stories of Winnie the Pooh. So it's using examples from the adventures of Winnie the Pooh and using that to explain Taoism and using that to teach you about a slower way of life, focusing on harmony and balance in life, and just teaching you about this Eastern tradition. Now to get into my favorite genre, which is fantasy, I am going to recommend to you Every Heart a Doorway. This is the first book in the Wayward Children series, which is a series of books about a school that is for children who have been through a portal to a magical world and then come back into this world and are now struggling with that adjustment of leaving a magical world, which I think is something I would struggle with. And so I was fascinated by this concept. And when I read Every Heart a Doorway, I really liked it. I liked that this book feels very grounded in reality, and that the experiences these kids have had going to a magical world and coming back truly are difficult for them. They went to this world, they found a place in these other worlds and really felt like they belonged and they fit in, and now they have to come back to this world where they don't have that same feeling. They don't feel like they belong here, and so it really truly is difficult, and it is a struggle for them adjusting. I liked that. That felt, like I said, if I were to go to a magical world and come back, I feel like I would have that same experience. I would miss that other world. That just felt very realistic to me, very true. And the way that this school that they're at is helping them with this is like very, I don't know, like they have group therapy every night where they're telling stories of experiences they had in these other worlds and why they loved these other worlds so much. They're finding common ground in their experiences and those feelings that they felt, and so these kids are able to heal and start to readjust to this world by relating to one another. And that also felt very real to me, and I liked that, like, while you have this really whimsical concept, it's also so real at the same time. That just really worked for me. I really enjoyed that. And I also loved that a similar juxtaposition that is presented in this book is that you have these children, a lot of whom have been to these really dark, seemingly spooky worlds. You know, our main character has been to the underworld, surrounded by dead people. She describes it as this like very dark, dreary place, and yet she fit in there so well that she speaks about it with so much love. And so you come to love these dark, spooky worlds too, because these children are talking about them with so much love. And so it's just this like really interesting combination of like of light and dark and reality and fantasy, and I just really liked it. I liked it a lot, and I'm really excited to continue reading the series. So yeah, those are all of my books. If you have any short books that you would like to add to this list, please comment down below and let me know. Before I leave you, I would like to recommend a couple of videos for you. If you just need a little bit of encouragement, Lena Norms recently posted a video about this same topic, reading short books to get on track with her reading goal. So if you need a little bit of light encouragement, go check out that video. And if you want some more short books that I have read and would recommend, go check out this video right here. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about books. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.